Good to be back. A lot going on. Whew. It's good to be back, everybody. So, right now, there's not a lot of information, but there's some things out there, some things that I didn't cover because I wasn't aware, as far as the having a couple of ransom notes here recently that were given on the same day Savannah came back. B. Garcia, good to have you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hoorah. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not a member. Good to have you, my friend. So that's basically what we're going to talk about is the ransom notes, because there was two. I covered one just a little bit, Garcia, just a little bit. And the reason I say that because I didn't cover the second ransom note that had come through with the first one on Monday. I didn't cover it. And I didn't cover it because I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. So, yeah, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about, your all's thoughts and opinions on what the hell's going on. Why is everything seem stagnant? Maybe even the reasoning why Tommaso, the son-in-law, was back at Nancy Guthrie's the other day. I think it was Monday. Um, and there was some rumors about, and I don't like spreading rumors, but there were some rumors in reference to Tommaso was speaking to the FBI. Now, that's not surprising if the FBI confronted Tommaso and wanted to have an interview. I've been waiting for that to happen, you know. I've been waiting for that to happen because a lot of signs say that, you know, he hasn't been cleared. Yeah, just point blank, no one's cleared in this. So that's another thing we'll be covering. Yeah, I know. It's very fishy, no doubt about it. Very, very fishy. Checkmate says hi. Good to have you, Checkmate. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything, just let you know when I'm coming on. Hoorah. Quick note, my background, law enforcement, done many investigations, trying to give you guys an insight from that perspective. And then the other thing is, Marine. If you know anything about the Marine Corps, Semper Fi means always faithful, giving you the most honest opinions possible. So that's where we're at. So let's get started. Good to have you here, Checkmate. So I guess we'll go with let's go with a little bit of rumor that was brought up. So I had heard through the grapevine, and it's just that, and I'm not giving a lot of credence to it because when I looked it up, I couldn't really find a lot of stuff. No, I think the memorial's still up. At least it was from last night, unless they took it up sometime today, this morning. But I think the memorial's still there. Now, apparently, word was going around in the ether world, if you will, for a better lack of words, that literally FBI was speaking to Tommaso, and or vice versa. Tommaso was speaking to the FBI. Now, that doesn't surprise me at all because I'm waiting for that day to happen because there's some things, as you all well know, that I need cleared up. I, just as a person, would really like to know some of these questions, clearing up the notion that why didn't the cameras gather any of his movements when he dropped off his mother-in-law, Nancy Guthrie? So that's very, very deep because it's very serious. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. And if you don't get that, to me, there is no way in hell you're going to be able to go ahead and clear the whole family, if you will, for a better lack of words, because for him, it's just not going to happen. You got to be able to fill in those blanks when they're not there, right? You got to be able to fill them in. And that's probably the most crucial thing, that's the most crucial thing because that literally gives him some credibility as to he wasn't there or he dropped her off and they got footage of him leaving and dropping her off. But at this point, we don't even know what the hell happened. Did he drop her off? Was he there? You know what I'm saying? Did she get into her garage door or did the garage door just open up? You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of things that you can make happen without literally me could make happen to give the perception of something that is not really happening, everybody. That's just common sense. Good morning, dog, says Lisa Page. Good to have you, Paige. Glad you're here. So that's one of the things, literally, that you have to clear people, right? It's just common sense. It's not anything any rocket scientist. It doesn't take someone who's, has a 200 IQ, right? It's common sense. And what's happening is it's not being discussed, or we haven't heard it being discussed. And that's why it's a problem. Now, here's what I will say. It's kind of a little bit rich here lately because you remember the three people I told you that I believe were my top three, literally, that was, in my opinion, persons of interest? Well, I don't know if you all notice, but the more I'm hearing a lot of other podcasters talk, I'm seeing those top three now in their vocabulary, which is kind of interesting. Ricardo, hi. How you doing, Ricardo? Good to have you, my brother. Good to have you. Don't forget, if you're not a member or subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Lets you know when I'm coming on, all right? Let's build this channel, everybody. With that, let's get on with it. So, it's just I'm hearing a lot, literally, regurgitated about at least my top three that I've stuck to the very beginning. And I'm starting to hear that more regurgitated on everybody's, I should say everybody's, on several people's, live streams. And it is very interesting how I didn't hear it before, but now I'm hearing it. So it just makes you wonder. Ricardo, I still here to understand what's happening in the world. Sounds good, Ricardo. You are welcome to be here, my friend, from Italy. Hoorah. Good to have you, Ricardo. Awesome. So that's one of the things that I've been hearing a lot. Now, the one thing I heard was, like I said, that it appears that word had come out that, like I said, that Tommaso was talking to the FBI, and it's not surprising. It really isn't. If that doesn't happen, that's surprising. So if you hear that, or you read that, or you see that, you ought to be like, damn, okay, we're getting somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We're getting somewhere. We're making headway, because right now that's crucial. That's very crucial. It just eliminates an individual from that whole process. And that sometimes matters more than anything. You want to eliminate people who are literally your persons of interest. You want to eliminate as much as you can so that whatever remains is what you're going to go after. That's where you're going to focus your time. That's when you're going to focus all your energy. Okay? That is very crucial. And I do mean crucial. Lisa says Tommaso is definitely shady. I mean, some of the things he's done, I don't have words for it, to be honest. Shady is a good word, no doubt about it. But you're right, Paige. Shady doesn't mean evidence. But I tell you what it does mean. It directs you to that individual. And what it does do, it doesn't literally go ahead and eliminate him or clear him. That's what we know it does do. So either way you look at it, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing, but it doesn't eliminate him from the equation. And look, if I'm somebody that was involved or wasn't involved, I would love to know that people have eliminated me, because then I'm not a talk of this topic. You know what I mean? And that's important. Paige says, hit the like, everybody. Everybody for the dog. Hit the like. Be a devil pup, everybody. Doesn't cost you anything to join and hit the like. So that's one of the things. Don't know if it really happened or not, because I didn't hear a whole lot about it. And, sometimes people kind of will throw stuff out there and kind of see where it goes, because there's not a lot much going on. But yeah, so you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Even for myself, take everything with a grain of salt. That's the best way to literally understand how everything's working. Ricardo, Fallen Bell, please. After that, are you near Trump policy? I know a lot about what's going on. I know a lot about where I stand, but right, focusing on Nancy. Honestly, Ricardo, I'm focusing on Nancy. But do I know? I don't. Yeah, yeah. Fast and Bill, I get it. Yeah, but here's the thing. Do I know about? Thank you for reminding me. Do I know about uh, Trump? Of course I do. Of course I do. Of course I do. Do I? I'm not even going to go there. Right now, it's all about Nancy. That's where it's at. I don't like mixing politics with this, because then we get into all this crazy stuff, and it just doesn't go together, and it's just not something I'm willing to do now. On a separate live, I'll be more than happy to. You guys want to talk about everything that's going on in the world, I have no problem with it. But right now, it's about Nancy. So the next thing is, did you guys watch the interview with Brian Eaton and the FBI? I think her name was Maureen. She is like a 20 some year veteran from the FBI, handles a lot of these type of cases. Her husband's a 38-year veteran from the law enforcement city cop type. It was interesting. You're very welcome, Paige. No problem, Ricardo. Hey, no need to be sorry, my friend. No need to be sorry. You just got to know that I've worked many years, almost nearly 20 years in law enforcement, and I have literally had to multitask so much and had to do so much on the go that, yeah, could I make mistakes? Sure, but really, and I'm talking in reference to my driving, and that's why seatbelts have never been something that I really, in my opinion, have concerned myself with. But you're right, it's important. I want to set the good example. Jose Warren's in the house. Jose Warren, Aaron Gould, hoorah, my friend. Thank you for being here. Remember, if you guys are not subscribers, doesn't cost you a dime. Become a subscriber. Let you know when I'm going live, because I'm telling you, no one's going to shoot the information, in my opinion, the way I'm giving it to you all. Okay? Now, let me rephrase that. There may be other officers, other law enforcement entities who I do like and I do enjoy hearing. They give you very well good detail, no doubt. But I'm talking about just people who have never been in that realm. Yeah, to me, this is about as real as it's going to get. Okay, not a whole lot of hoopla, but a lot of infola, right? Information. So the next thing is Tommaso went to the house, right? Tommaso went to the house Monday after Savannah had reported about the notes that they received. Now, I thought it was just one note, but it was obviously two notes. And they kind of contradicted a little bit of each other. Okay, they contradicted each other. in some way. Do I think that it was legit? Hell yeah, I think it was legit. I do. But everything comes with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? You got to really be able to break it all down if you're going to get that information. So here's the thing, everybody. So Tommaso went to the house. If you didn't hear this last time, he went to the house. He got there. He went there. He got there. And what ended up happening is that another call. First of all, he hauled butt pulling into the driveway. He gets in there, parks his car, garage, goes in, hurries up and goes on the outside, the backside of the house. All happened Monday. And then another car, about, I don't know, a few minutes later, pulls in, and they're looking for Tommaso, or it seemed like she looked like a lady. Some say she was FBI, some say she was law enforcement. All I can tell you is it did appear to be a lady. And she went looking for him and kept knocking on the door, but he would not answer. She kept calling for him, he would not come to the door. So all of a sudden, here about, I would say probably maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, that individual left that house. They left. Only to go ahead and leave. And then about a minute later, Tommaso comes out from behind. Now he's on the side of where that tree house was at. So he comes around the corner. I showed you all pictures. He comes around the corner, and sure as heck, literally, he gets in his car and he hauls ass out of there. Now you can ask the question, why? Why didn't he not meet that individual that was calling his name? Or, could have been a lot of things that they needed to talk to somebody there, and they, seen him and thought, well, if we go ahead and meet with him, he'll be able to answer some of our questions, meaning maybe somebody doing work on the house or something. But the fact of the matter is, it did look like it was somebody of importance, okay? That it did. Burn machine. My dog got hit by a car. Sorry to hear that, my friend. Sorry to hear that. Best wishes and luck to your dog, and best wishes and luck to you and your family, my friend. So now that's where we're at there with that. Kind of really suspicious looking. And if you watch the footage, it is very suspicious how he's moving, how he's walking, what he has in his pockets, what it looks like. There's so much there. Song in my heart says so sad. Yes, it is. No doubt. Man's best friend. No doubt. So if you watch the video, you see that there is so much going on there. So much. Just by his body language. Just if you're able to blow the caption up a little bit, his facial, it just like he just seemed like he was not all there, like something was going on in his mind. That's what it seemed like to me. That's what it seemed like to me, reading his body language. And the fact of the matter is, for him to go ahead and not come out to, if anything, meet the person who was in the driveway, says why? Like, what are you hiding? Are you know what I'm saying? It just didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. So that was kind of odd. Now, talking about the two letters, the ransom notes, I talked about the first one where the guy said basically they wanted, or I say the guy, the person who wrote it, said that they wanted half a Bitcoin, and then that they wanted another half when the person was arrested. They wanted the other half of Bitcoin. So basically a whole Bitcoin, half now, half later. And that's what was talked about. And this all came out Monday when literally Savannah went back to work. But here's the kicker. Then a little bit later, there's another one sent by the same individual. And this one kind of says, hey, Nancy was taken to Sonora, Mexico. I know where she's at. I know who took her. I want half a Bitcoin now and half a Bitcoin when you arrest the individual. Now, the contradictory part is that on the first note, it kind of seemed like it almost seemed like he was, for a better lack of words, he was contradicting himself because he said that time, basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, time wasn't of the essence, like she had passed. Come on, everybody, click like. Do me that favor, just click the like button. That's all you got to do. So that's what's going on there. Okay, click that like, man, smash that like. So the idea the idea that on one hand he sends the note saying, hey, time's not of the essence, like, she's gone. I can tell you where she's at and I can tell you who done it, but I need half Bitcoin now and I need half when you arrest the individual. And then another one comes in and this one says, hey, she's in Sonora, Mexico. She's in Sonora, Mexico, and I can tell you where she's at, and I can go ahead and tell you who took her. Now, the family has to understand, do we want to do this or not? I mean, what is Bitcoin now? 68,000. So at the worst case, you're going to be out half of that and then possibly another half, if everything comes not to pan out. Is that worth it to you to at least have like, hey, I did everything I possibly could do, everything I did possibly that I could do to get mom back? To me, if I had the money, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that at the end of the day, I can look at myself in the mirror and say, I did everything. I did everything I could. I offered money, I offered this, I offered that, and it just didn't work. I mean, you can only do so much. Make sure you hit that like, everybody. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Being a subscriber doesn't cost you anything either. You know what I'm saying? Do me that favor. It just shows appreciation that you like the channel and that you're following what's going on. I appreciate you. Thank you. So that's what happened on the second note. And I don't know what to make of it other than to say it's very odd because on one hand it's hinting that she is gone, and on the other hand is saying that she knows where she's at, or this person of interest knows where she's at and who took her. So it really comes down to what are you willing to sacrifice to go ahead and see what's going on. Gene, hey Gene, good to have you. Gene says CNN just made an arrest in the missing Bahama woman. Was it the husband? Gene, do you know? I was seeing a little bit of the case, and I think after the daughter came out and said there was a lot of the daughter to the dad, the stepdad, I guess they had a kind of a rocky relationship. And I watched it last night, and the daughter said that they had a rocky relationship, especially when they drank. And she kind of suspected something went wrong. Truth be told, I kind of felt like definitely something was not adding up. Gene says probably. Yeah, that's what I thought, and that's what the daughter said. Oh, I got you, Gene. Well, thank you for that update. Thank you for that update. So the Bahama woman, if you don't know, they were on a little, they were on a sailboat, but then they got into this little boat type deal. I don't know what you call it. It's like a troll little thing, real small. And apparently it tipped over, or she fell off, went into the water. And the ironic thing was that most of that area they were saying was only like 5 foot deep, but she went over and they could not find her. The husband went ahead and swam back to the dock to call police for help, and therefore that's where we're at on that. Gene just posted that they did go ahead and make an arrest on that. Last night, I had heard that the daughter had did an interview, and she had said that the husband, which is her stepdad, and her mom, they kind of had a rocky relationship. Constantly, things were going on. They were getting into, arguments. I'm assuming domestics, probably even to that extreme. All related to, she said, alcohol, which is no surprising to me because I recall I ever going to deal with domestic. It always seems like alcohol is related in some way, shape, or form. Gene says, wouldn't a kidnapper be scared about DNA on the body of the person? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would think. I mean, yeah, for sure. Gene says, I'm hiding right now too tight. Well, don't get in trouble, Gene, but thank you so much. And that's a true fan right there. That is a true supporter, guys. Someone who will literally sneak in tight so she can put out the info. Amen. You rock, Gene. You rock. Thank you so much. Awesome. Click that like, everybody, for Gene. Sneaking away, typing away, getting that information out. That is awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. But anyway, the idea is that that's what was reported, and I did watch that. Thank you for letting us know, because yeah, I kind of even kind of asked myself, like, it's got to be him, right? It's got to be him, like. And the reason I said that was because I had also saw the interview with the daughter, and it just, I mean, family is not going to lie, right? Just like the gentleman that they found guilty, um, literally that they found guilty with the trying to the doctor and the anesthesiast or whatever, and he tried to basically unalive her, hitting her with the rock and so forth. So they found him guilty as well, and I think they gave him. I thought it was like, I'm not sure. I thought it was like 15 years. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But I watched a little bit of that as well. They're going to appeal it, but I don't think that there's no way. I mean, his son was a big part of literally, I think, sinking his own dad's ship. That wasn't his mom. That was his stepmom. But needless to say, he said that his dad called him and told him what he had done and why he had done it. Was had some cheating going on and whatnot, supposedly, and so at least the son just said the truth, on what he was told. But that was that one. So I do follow a lot of these cases because they're interesting to me, and once again, I get into that type of thing. So this channel ain't going nowhere, everybody. You wanna get involved? This is the time to get involved. Absolutely. So is um, the other thing is with Nancy is, there's not a whole lot more out there other than to try to figure out. I mean, I'm telling you, the people that I have told you already that are my top three people of interest, I'm telling you, we've already seen them. We've already seen them. We know who they are, and I do honestly believe that we have already seen the people of interest and the perpetrators who committed this heinous act with Nancy Guthrie. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. We have seen it. Now, we just haven't been able to point it and separate it to be able to fit that puzzle. But we've seen it. Make no mistake, we have seen it. And that I do believe wholeheartedly. And not because a lot of times the person will come back to the scene of the crime, although they do, that is very well known. But I just believe that there is no one new that's going to jump out and grab you. That's why the only thing that bugs me on this last double ransom note that was presented to TMZ, this last one we just heard about Monday, it bothers me when they say she was taken to Sonora, Mexico, because I'm not sure that's, and that's, but I mean, it could be. It could be. It's just I'm not feeling that. And that's just my gut telling me that. Not that I have any type of know what's going on. You know what I mean? We none of us do. We're just going with pure what we hear and what we see, you know. So that's important. Um, and then you got the other individuals, you got a lot of other people that are, I mean, Sleuth Intuition is out there trying to piece things together. Monk, if you guys haven't heard of Monk, and I think it's Monk Intrigue. That guy's got some really good head on his shoulders, putting good things together. Um, there's people out there that I really enjoy because they do a really good job. Um, but as far as like searching, well, that's a whole different ballgame. I already told you, you guys know how I feel about Jim. I think Jim is the ultimate searcher when it comes to live streamers. Um, that's just my opinion, and I don't think anybody does it better than him. At least he gets out there on his dirt bike, motorbike. Um, so that's where that's at. Now, the other important thing in this whole thing is, you know, to ask the question, who else could have even been in play in this? Who else could have even had a role in this? You know what I mean? That's the interesting part. I don't know anybody else that could be in that topic of conversation, to be honest. I don't know who could have been in that topic of conversation. I really don't know. Because to me, everything has been covered. Everything has been covered, in my opinion. So that's where we're at. Gene. Gene says, Gene, Paige, can you guys keep this live going? Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, everybody. I am back. Does anybody got any ideas on who you think could be the perpetrator? Has any one of you guys, I know a lot of you listen to other streamers. Have any one of you guys got any ideas on who it could be, who it might be? You know, you guys, anybody hear any good information out there? Keep working, Gene. That is what Paige just said. It's a beautiful day here in Van Wert, Ohio. It's a beautiful day in Ohio, period. But you're right, no doubt about it. Up here in Northwest, it is nice. Supposed to get up to about 70. Love that weather. Love it because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's just perfect. Time out, everyone. Ha ha. Bring Nancy home. Amen. No doubt. That's what it's all about, folks. It'd be like that for anybody's mom, for anybody's daughter, for anyone's kid. We would all and should all be wanting that one thing to happen, no doubt. Gail, Parma, Ohio. I know where that's at. Good deal, Gail. Good to have you. Good to have you. I am Northwest Ohio. Hoorah. Parma, Ohio. I know exactly where that's at. I just agree with you on that, dog. Yeah, on that three. Yeah, I totally get it. Totally. Parma, Ohio. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know who else. There's no one else that fits that mold, that billet. You know what I mean? There's no one else that they can throw out that I believe we are going to go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I just don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think I just think that there's not anybody left. I think the people who are all the players within this realm, literally, we have seen them. And there isn't anybody else to literally look at and go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't. No, if you don't know them by now, if you don't know them by now, I really doubt that they're going to give us an aha moment other than when they make that arrest and the FBI says, literally, and until the FBI literally says that that person, there has been a person arrested in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. Breaking news, you know what I mean? I've always said that and I've always believed that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Tommaso, Lopez, and LD. Yeah. But my three is LD, Lopez, and then Tommaso. But you're exactly right, Paige. I just don't think there is any way anyone can literally um I don't know how anybody can go ahead and say anything different. You know what I mean? You'd have to be able to explain it, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. Not at all, in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't see it. And that's that's the thing where we should all be able to go ahead and be able to figure that out. Give me a second, everybody. I gotta back up. Yes, definitely different order. Yeah, no, LD is literally to me is the main guy in my opinion. But they're all. It could be any one of them. You know, it could be any one of them. Any one of them. Keep the chat going. All right. So that's pretty much that as far as that's my three, and that's going to stick with those three until further notice. Anybody else got anybody that comes into your mind? Let's see what we got here. Tommaso Lopez and LD. Gail says, what about the caregiver Nancy fired? You know, that I mean, you can't go wrong with thinking that. That's a for sure. Okay. You cannot go wrong because of the reality is that it only makes sense, right? Uh, we don't know why she was fired. We don't know what happened, what the fallout was. Not a whole lot of information on her. Matter of fact, we don't even know if the FBI have even talked to that caregiver who stayed in the house. You know, we haven't even heard anybody talk about it, to be honest. Not a whole lot anyway. So that's a good point, Gail. That's a very good point. At this point, I wouldn't rule anybody out. In all honesty, I wouldn't rule anybody out. I would take everything with a grain of salt, but I would not rule anybody out, even if it's somebody that we haven't heard yet, right? You'd be crazy because we don't have a lot of that information. So I wouldn't rule anybody out. But in the same token, I just don't see anybody having more involvement than those top three in some way, shape, or form. However, you have a good point. Yeah, Gail, that's a really good point. The caregiver. I mean, we can always say maybe the roofers, maybe the carpenters, maybe the pool guy. Those are all because they all had contact with her, right? With Nancy. They all had contact with her in one way, shape, or form. So they would know what's going on there. They would know maybe a little bit about Nancy. Okay. So that begs to make sense. That totally begs to make sense. I'm just not sure that it's to that level, but hey, like I said, you can't rule out anybody. It's very, very possible. And Lisa says, I got tunnel vision. Hey, we all get tunnel vision when you're trying to to find that missing link. A lot of us tend to get, even myself, you know, get tunnel vision trying to literally figure out the one thing that makes all the difference. We stay focused, and that's what I think a lot of people do is you don't look outside that box. And I'm not saying they're not creating anything. I mean, they don't look outside that box. You know, they stay on one thing. But for me, I'm always saying, hey, show me the evidence that they are cleared, and I will take them off my list. No doubt about it. But I haven't heard any streamers say who they think it is. Does anybody hear any streamer really talk about who they think it is? I'm not talking about people that are in their chats or give their opinions. I'm talking about the streamers themselves. Did you ever hear like their thinking on who it could be or why or what's the reasoning? Because I haven't heard a whole lot of streamers talk about that, giving their opinion, in all honesty. Paige says, was there DNA inside the house? Are we waiting on it? Is the mixed DNA from inside the house? Yes, you got DNA on the glove, okay? That they don't know, possibly because the person is a uh hasn't been into CODIS or whatnot, right? So if you haven't been entered in CODIS on a previous crime, you're not going to come back as a hit. Is there DNA? Yes, they did say there was DNA. They did say they had DNA and they were waiting on that DNA. And they even would possibly have to go through a, what do you call that? A genealogist or something to that effect because of the fact that it just, yeah, it may be combined with other DNA, I guess is the best way to put it. So yes, we're still waiting to hear on DNA. Whether or not that's going to happen, I have no idea. I haven't heard any streamer give his opinion as to who, what, when, where, why. I have heard people say, yeah, we don't want to go ahead and make it seem like this, that, or the other. And, we don't want to go ahead and appear to be this person or that person. And I totally get it. I totally get it. But in the same token, you know, if you're going to have people giving in there, you got to be able to at least go ahead and make that, call it like you think you might see it, not just pretend like it just doesn't exist, because there obviously we know somebody did it. I mean, that's no doubt. But I got another thought here. Give me 1 second. I'm back, everybody. I didn't forget about y'all. Just trying to figure out something here. Just trying to figure out something here. All right, I'm back. Sorry. So, all right, where are we now? Someone's got to pay the bills, everybody. Someone's got to pay the bills. All right. The DNA could very well break the case. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. The DNA that they said they had was they did have DNA from the house and they had DNA from that glove. When they tested the glove that they found near Nancy's house, they said that that DNA didn't come back to anybody that they could basically affiliate with because more likely that person was not already been like arrested or in CODIS or whatever, whatever system nationally that is used for people who have been arrested in the past. That's the only downfall to those things is you almost have to have a record before it shows that it's a match, right? Um, so, but yes, the gloves, yeah, that's meaningless, no doubt about it. Right, right. I mean, oh, no doubt about it, Gail. To the idea that they could have literally, the guy picked up that foliage. Okay, it was interesting because I watched Brian Enton last night, and he was talking to that Maureen, that FBI agent, and she was saying her biggest thing was she could not believe that they didn't swab inside the house in the areas where Nancy probably were at, the main areas like the bedroom, taking the a little like Q-tip swabs and swabbing. And her theory was, on the agent's theory was, he had, how he put that light in his mouth when he had that light in his mouth? Well, he probably did that throughout that whole process, right? Puts it in his mouth so he can free up his hands. Takes it out when he doesn't need it, puts it in his pocket. Even though he's wearing gloves, that saliva is DNA. So anything he touches, in his mind, he may think, "Oh, I'm not leaving fingerprints." No, no, dumbass, you're not leaving fingerprints, but you are leaving DNA everywhere. And so the agent that Brian Enton was talking to, it was really interesting because, yeah, you still have it every time you take that light out of your mouth, right, and put it in your pocket. You're getting saliva on your hands that have the gloves on it. You follow me? And it makes no sense that they didn't swap. Well, I can't say they didn't, but what she said and what I will always say is I didn't hear anybody doing that. I didn't see anybody doing that. Of course, I wasn't in there, but it doesn't seem logical that any one of them did that. And I'm talking full go, checking everything, swabbing everything, bed sheets, countertops, anything, door handles. Now they may have done that. I just, the way she put it spoke volume, because I don't think they did everything they could have done to swab everything. And as well as you were saying, that foliage, right? He had that in his mouth, right? He had the light in his mouth. Okay, and you're talking about the carpet, or not the carpet, but the mat. Now he grabs the foliage, he has the light in his mouth, so he's taking out the light so he can grab the foliage. Well, if there's any bit of saliva on his hand, it's going to be on that foliage of whatever it was. Why didn't they take that foliage if they didn't? And why didn't they go ahead and test it to see if there was a saliva they could pull a DNA or something? It's those little things, those little nuggets that make all the difference in the world, everybody. It makes all the difference in the world. And it was a very good point. And I agree with her 110%. They should have done that. And you're right. If for anything, they should have just taken the floor mat. No doubt about it. They should have taken the floor mat because it wouldn't have hurt. God only knows what else they would have found on it, but it wouldn't have hurt having literally having that with you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just saying it just doesn't make any sense. When you really stop and think about it, it don't make any sense. I'm ready for this to be solved so we can all move on. I agree. No doubt about it, Paige. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And so the family can move on. So the family can honestly say they're moving on, you know? So the family can honestly start their lives with knowing that okay, we got mom's body back if that's even possible, and we buried her, and we had a farewell of life well lived, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, but these little mistakes, they're costly, you know. The other thing that I stressed on was, remember when this first happened, they thought it was literally a like she might have walked away, or just kind of like uh, as older people do, kind of just drifted off, right? Doors were open in the back, so she could have just walked on out and just taken a walk and got lost, right? But here's the thing: all those cops, or deputies, should I say, and people that were there, they were all walking in the back of the yard, literally destroying without realizing it all the evidence, footprints, anything. They were stepping all over it because they were walking on it, right? So the idea, the idea that that is exactly what has happened, the idea that literally they were not doing anything like that, you know, they should have been wearing booties, those little like surgical booties they put over their shoes, so they don't leave any footprints of anything, and they don't step on anything or contaminate anything, right? They should have been wearing those, okay? They should, and I don't know if they were, but I didn't see anybody wearing those, because when they finally got out there, it was like it was a free for all, right? They were all just looking. And I get it. Sometimes you're not thinking clearly. I totally understand that. But you have to be, because this is very crucial that you think clearly, because there's a lot at stake here. So the idea that they didn't do any, like, apparently they didn't find anything. Well, someone was in the back. Someone was in the back, because the door was propped open, holding by that flower pot of Nancy's, right? And that gate was held open also by a flower pot. So somebody was back there. Okay. Listen, let's not kid ourselves. Somebody was back there. And the idea that everybody's just walking everywhere, you know, are you serious? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And that's the problem that you have. Okay. The problem that you have is that you don't have anybody literally, like, I'm not saying they didn't do a good job or the best that they could for the knowledge that they had. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying there was a lot of mistakes made, a lot, and possibly a lot of things that were done that shouldn't have been done. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, I believe, in my opinion, that yeah, they should have done what that detective said. Swab everything: the front door, the back door, the doors that were propped open. And that, she was stating how when you open a door, you're going to open it from the very top in weird ways. You're going to open it where somebody who is committing this type of crime would have never done that, right? Just to preserve evidence, So yes, it is frustrating. It is very frustrating, and I know a lot of streamers are frustrated, and especially because they don't really understand the concepts of why everything is happening, as far as They're going for, in my opinion, a lot of these streamers are looking at the fact that they're wanting that golden nugget evidence, which is crucial. Everybody wants it. But they have to understand how it all works and how it all comes together. They have to understand how the pieces fit, because if they did, then they'll be able to give out their narrative as to this makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. And now that puzzle it starts to define itself, right? But a lot of streamers, they don't talk about anything of who they think it is, because I honestly don't think any one of them have a idea. The only reason I'm able, etc., is because of the fact that yes, I've been in this realm before. I understand, who I'm looking for and what I'm looking for, and that's how it's supposed to work. No doubt. Paige says, "Imagine being poor Savannah." I mean, yeah, it's a bad situation. Hold on to Ford. I'll be right back. So, so yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to imagine, and no doubt, Savannah is probably just livid, right? Savannah's probably just totally like, just doesn't know what to think, you know. Uh, and it's sad. It's sad, because some things you hear online are so really disheartening. They're disheartening because some of the things you hear people say, like, you know, dismantle the body was this or the body could have been that. It's just to think about that. It's got to be very man. It's got to make your stomach just turn and hurt. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, but I get it why the streamers are upset. I totally understand, but that's just the nature of how it works. That's just the nature of how it works. And sometimes you just got to go ahead and tell yourself, this is what we got to do. You know, we got to try to figure out how how it works, why it works the way it does. That's what you got to figure out. You know what's really strange is when you see some of the family members have these when some of these family members have these really awkward ways of expressing or not expressing any type of what's happened. You know what I mean? I mean, the idea that, you know, you would think a lot of the family members would be doing a lot more. And I'm not sure what that lot more is, because in reality, I mean, if you got the FBI involved, Pima County Sheriff's Office involved, well, what is everything else? What is everybody else supposed to really know? What is the family supposed to do? I know people think, well, I would look until the end of time or whatever. Yeah, I get it. It all sounds good. But if you have literally the sheriff's department of Pima County and the FBI and God knows who else is involved that are trying to find or trying to put this piece together, I'm not sure if it's just more of a better feeling to say, gosh, because would I still be looking for if that was my mother? Absolutely. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. But I also am a realist because of my profession that tells me, geez, what, what if these guys can't find it, how in the hell am I supposed to find it? You know, for your average Joe. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure what the family is supposed to do other than what? I mean, what else is left? My God, you have it in the hands of the best people possible to go ahead and try to figure out what happened to your mom. And now all you have is questions. Why hasn't it been done? Why hasn't it, why haven't they found the perp or perps that did this? So, I say it sometimes, but sometimes, you got to think outside that box. And truth be told, I think they all understand and they have come to terms with the fact that they believe that she's probably gone from this world. I mean, that would be a normal feeling, in my opinion. So I don't know what really is left. What I do know is that you can't give up on looking for her. Okay, you got to continue to look for her. If this case ever becomes a cold case, it's going to take a couple of years before that happens. But if this case ever becomes a cold case, then at that point you can say go back and try to figure this that. But my God, there's still a lot to be looked at. There's still a lot of people to be interviewed. There's still a lot of people to be re-interviewed, re-talked to. You know, I just don't know how a lot of these people they haven't looked into. And how some of these people who apparently they looked into, but they haven't went ahead and it doesn't appear that they're saying anything about them as far as that they've literally checked things out. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It drive anybody crazy. The reality is that how do you just literally not tell the people something so that at least they know that you're doing something, that they know that, hey, the cops haven't quit on us, the police haven't quit on Nancy, the FBI hasn't quit on Nancy, they're still trying to figure this out. And I think that sometimes, it gives the impression that they've given up because they don't say anything. You know what I mean? They just don't say anything. And sometimes saying nothing is just as bad, it's just as bad because you're not giving anybody anything. Hi from Chicago, Christine. Good to have you here, Christine. Thank you for being here. If you're not a subscriber, click like and subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Click that like button. Get into this conversation. I appreciate you being here. Hoorah. What are your thoughts, Christine? What are your thoughts on what's going on? Lisa says, my laptop is still showing only one like. Come on, everybody. I know you guys have been clicking that like. I know you guys have been clicking that like. Do me that favor. Click that like, everybody. Do me that favor, please. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost you anything but pushing your finger down on the like button. If you could do that, I would really appreciate it. Click that like, everybody. And by joining, you become literally a devil pup in the channel of Devil Dog underscore 88. Hoorah. Hey, DD been watching today since S came back on Monday. No mention of Nancy. She looks and acts like nothing happened, like she was on a vacay or something today. No yellow ribbon, roses, nothing. Hey, you keep up the good work there, Paige. I understand what you're saying, Christine. I get it. I get it. I understand what you're saying, and I totally understand. And the idea that literally, literally, uh, it doesn't seem like everybody has just moved on in the family. You know, it would be better if they come out and said something in unity again together, because we know that obviously they were close to their mom. So you would think that they would literally, say something again. I don't know why. Like it's kind of weird because on the show, on the Today Show with Savannah, when she's on there, they'll talk about like other cases, like they'll bring up a case that's going on, or this or that, or the uh, Gilbo murders. They'll talk about different areas, And it's got to be like you would think it's got to be on the tip of their mind as to, hey, what about mom? Like, I'm not so sure if she's not supposed to say anything while she's back on the news. I don't know why, or if it's something that would cause her to break down emotionally on live TV. I don't know. I really don't. All I know is this is that trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes is so difficult, especially when you haven't been through similar things. Gail said, thumbs up. Lisa, you're doing great, Lisa. You're doing awesome. I appreciate you and I thank you. Same with you, Gene. Appreciate you. So that's what's going on. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and you're right on the money, Christine. You're right. But that's because we don't have any information on anything. There's nothing. And as an officer myself, as a previous law enforcement and whatnot, trying to make sense, yeah, sometimes it is baffling. Big time, it's baffling. You know, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And you ask the question, and I mean that in general, and then you ask the question, why is this happening? And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why no one's saying anything, why anybody's not, giving any type of feedback. It makes no sense. Why did she even go back? All that money, she doesn't need that job. Well, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know. It could be maybe she's trying to distract her mind. Maybe she has become really close to her coworkers. It seems like they got a pretty good relationship. And maybe that is like her secondary family, if you will. So maybe she's trying to embrace them. I mean, she can't embrace, Annie and Tommaso and her brother Cameron. She can't embrace them because they're not anywhere around her. But at her work, it's like her secondary family. Maybe she feels like, you know, like she draws their strength, if you will. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but it's possible. You know, um, yeah, I've always said, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not happy doing what you like to do, then you know you're going to be miserable, right? So you can be happy and have all the money in the world, but if you're not happy in what you do, you're going to be miserable. Money won't buy that happiness. I mean, sometimes I like to think like, hey, well, let me be the judge of that. But I get it. I get it. And but maybe that's why, maybe that's why they literally, maybe that's why. And you're right, Paige. Fame might be very addicting. I mean, people like that attention. I mean, maybe Savannah likes that attention. Maybe she likes being on the big screen. You know, me myself personally, I'm not sure what I would do. I know I'd be looking for my mom. That wouldn't stop. That wouldn't stop one bit. Nancy is forgotten already, except by all the boots on the ground like you and others and US out here in TV land. No, I get it and I appreciate that, Christine. And I understand where you're coming from. I totally do. Um, and here's the thing. Streamers that are out there and myself and others, you try to keep it alive for the sake of hope that one day certain things will come together. And I do believe they're going to catch the perp or perps in this. I really do. I think there's so much information there that it would be crazy not to think that they're going to catch this person or persons who did this. No doubt in my mind. What bothers me is the idea that it's taking this damn long. How does it take this long to go ahead and figure it out? I mean, I can tell you just on my synopsis, I know what I would already been doing, interviewing, who I would have been talking to, what questions I would have been asking under my setting in my department, and yet we don't hear none of that. We don't hear anybody talking about that. And it makes no sense. So it's just so much out there that it doesn't make sense because you think people would be doing more. And why aren't they seem to get any headway? Why are we not making any headway? You know what I mean? And I get it. It just, yeah. Ellington, good to have you. Good morning. Nice to have you here. Hoorah, Semper Fi. If you're not a devil pup, become a devil pup. Join for free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it just gets you in the conversation and let you know when I'm going live. Good to have you, Ellington. Appreciate you. Christine says, out of respect and love for her mother, 2 months off of work is such a short period in time. If Nancy's alive, that would think, wow, back to normal life already. Guess I'm not. No, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. You're right. I mean, people are funny nature, People, you know, people are just different. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, and you're right. You're definitely right. I couldn't have said that better myself. The fact of the matter is that, you know, taking some time off and maybe, you know, I don't know. That's the thing. You go take time off and then what? What do you do? Like the professionals are supposed to be on this. They're supposed to be figuring this out. Uh, you know what? It would have been. I don't know. Once again, I hate to say things to put myself in those shoes, or because I don't know, but I would like to think that, truthfully, um, take some time off. Maybe go see your sister, your brother, and your brother-in-law and whatnot, and just spend some time together. And I don't know if that's already been covered. I don't know if that's already been done. I don't know if they even have a good I don't know. We don't know anything, right? We don't even know if they have a good relationship for that matter. I mean, it appears that they have okay of a relationship, but truthfully, what do we really know about the family? You know? So you're right. I mean, you're definitely right. No doubt about it. Paige says, "Forgive me, but I think Savannah is strange." Yeah, just she's definitely has her oddness, if you will. Um, Maybe it's the baby of the family. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it's funny you say that because no, I agree with you. I think she's a little bit, a little strange. Not sure why I feel that. Not sure why I think that. But you're right. I get that same thing. Um, but I'll tell you, here's an interesting. You guys remember? I think it was a Dr. Q that came on somebody else's live and was talking about how he thought it was somebody that was infatuated with Savannah that was trying to get back at her for not giving her the time of day, and then went ahead and took it out on her mom. That type of thing. I always thought that was BS. In all honesty, I know it came from a Dr. Q, but I always thought that was bullshit. Excuse my language, but I don't buy that one bit. I never bought that. Maybe for the same reasons you're saying, uh, Paige, that she's so odd. Yeah, I never even once thought that for a minute. Yeah, I can't pinpoint it either. It's something there that I don't know if it's just her nature, like I said, or being the baby or of the family or what. But yeah, but I never bought into that somebody was infatuated with her and they felt like, they're gonna get back at her by going after her. I just never. I just, I always thought that was BS. And here recently, I had heard him talk, Dr. Q, on that same live, and now he has changed his opinion on. He doesn't think it's that anymore. That it does appear that it's a ransom, a ransom for a kidnapping for ransom. And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, that's to me in law enforcement. That's exactly what it's always been. But it's just funny how you hear some things, and he was adamant. I remember listening to him. He was adamant about, oh yeah, it's a, I forgot what the parasocial normal or something he called it. The infatuation aspect, but I never really bought that. In all honesty, I just being honest with you all. I thought that was a bunch of BS. No, I know, Paige. You don't blame Savannah. I get it. Mrs. White, I don't think they are close. But remember, she said people were getting close to their location and they were holding hands running through I did. I remember that. You're definitely right. You're definitely right. I- and it's kind of like tragedy always brings people together. And then when that tragedy is done, everybody goes back to the same old box, right? Yeah, I mean, you ever done that or gone through that where like someone you love passes away, and then all of a sudden, everybody comes to reunite, but then everybody goes back, and then everything goes back to square one. You know what I mean? So it's very possible, Mrs. White. You're right. But they did say, well, they had to run in through the desert because they were being watched by everybody and everybody, and they didn't want probably anybody to question them. So it's either run and hold hands and run so you don't get lost because it's so dark back there, or yeah, face everybody who's out there in front of your house. I mean, yeah, no doubt. I don't blame Savannah. No, I don't blame anybody in the family. Let me rephrase that. I don't blame Savannah. I don't blame most of the people in the family. I guess is the best way to put it. Christine says, I feel a lot of her persona, a lot of her persona is false. I mean, it could be. It could be. It's hard to say because people grieve in so many different ways. Give me a sec. Yeah, that's a tough one, Christine, because you know everybody grieves so differently, and we don't know what the hell she's going through. But you're right, it is odd. It is odd. I think it's odd with all of them. I think they all, when they first did that interview together, and they all literally like were there together, and bring mommy home, and mommy, we love you and we want you home, and all this stuff that was going on. You know, I do believe that it didn't seem normal. It seemed like Cameron was, I don't know if he was just going through a lot of different emotions, but he seemed like he was in La La Land, and 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 um Annie was kind of like in La La Land. It just what it looked like to me. It looked like that to me. But yeah, it's so hard to figure out how people are feeling inside. On camera, she seems normal, but in real life, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever really know, to be honest. Mrs. White says Dr. Q just wanted to hear his self talk. Honestly, Mrs. White, I believe that 110%. I think I think he was just wanted to hear I'm with you 110%. No doubt about it. I'm just leave it at that. I believe you 110% because I feel the same way. And it was almost like I just always thought it was a bunch of BS, in all honesty. I mean, that's just the way I saw it, honestly. And I get it. I totally get it. They said they played the kidnapping game. Yeah, that was interesting, Paige. They would play the kidnapping game, like they would kidnap somebody, and then they would like one of the kids, and then they would say, "Mom, so and so." I mean, I think that is really like wow, like I don't even know how that happens, to be honest. I really don't. In all honesty, I don't know how that happens. Mrs. Wise says people were out wanting to help look for Nancy, not chase them. I agree with Christine. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. It was always about helping them. It was always about searching for Nancy for a lot of the people, even the people that are still there. It was always about that, you know? And yet it was always about that, but it seemed like that wasn't possible for whatever reasons. Here, Christine says people can be very off predators at 70 years old. At 70 years old, a 70-year-old bank guard stalked me when I worked there. I was 20 years old, left notes, escalating, followed me into the ladies' courtroom, train station, etc. Wow. Wow. Very, very interesting. The Silence of the Lamb quote. If I didn't know better, I'd say they're all on drugs. I don't know. Something's up. I don't know. I mean, I like to think that you know, that they have like reasonings for what they're going through, like their emotions and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know at all. I didn't know better. I said they were all. Mrs. White says, Lisa, they're out there for sure. No doubt. No doubt. And see, that's the whole thing, everybody. I mean, let me plug this in once again. If you're not subscribed to be a devil pup, please go ahead and subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just let you know when I'm going live. I try to go live every day, but there's sometimes, like the last couple of days, I had some doctor appointments I had to attend to, and they just lasted longer than I anticipated. But with that, go ahead and click like and subscribe. Don't cost you anything, and have this conversation with us. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad, really, because looking at it from the outside, when I see them three together in that press conference they did at the very beginning, they just look so like they were all lethargic, like they haven't seen each other for so long that it was just. You ever get that feeling like you're related only by blood, but there's no really like. And I'm just saying, just the appearance, like you're related and you grew up together and you obviously you probably love one another, but you all live different worlds. Cameron was a pilot, was a military, you know, whatever, 30 some plus years in the Air Force and National Guard, flew F-16s. I mean, that's like a separate world in itself. Then you have over here Andy and Tomasco, living the wild life. He's in a band, they're going to clubs, blah, 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 blah. And then you have Savannah. She's, this very popular individual who literally is out there and in the front of the media. So yeah, it's just very interesting. Honestly, it's very interesting. They seem like they're all were out of place. You know what I mean? Do you guys get that same feeling? Yeah, I heard the same thing, Paige, that she called the astronaut. I don't know if it's because he's their constituent. The Senator Kelly is the constituent of hers, where her mom lives. I don't know if that's it, but it was Mark Kelly, and I don't know if that was the reason why she called. Probably also because of the tragedy that his wife went through, Gabby Gifford, when she was almost unalived herself at a softball game, or no, outside of a store. They were doing some type of questions and answers. Give me a second. So yeah, that was quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, they all seem a little odd, if you will, just a little odd. To me, that says she does that. To me, that says she didn't trust Nanos or FBI. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. No doubt. Yeah, me too. I really enjoy um, I really enjoy going ahead and seeing Jim, and it is very nice to see him. Uh, he seems to be just like I said. He's a searcher, man. He practices what he preaches, and I really enjoy Jim. I really do. Yeah. No, I. It's funny you say that because I find myself like it's like I don't even really watch TV much more. All I watch is all these streamers and people talking about this case and all this different things that are going on, and it's just very interesting now for me anyway. It's just interesting. Mrs. White says, "Do you all think two backpack guy is related to have a smaller jacket, and you can see him putting possible white light in and out of his mouth?" Yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I do think that. I think that individual is the second person on my list as to a person of interest, in my opinion. Two backpacks. I think Doug Live Northport. I think he had a really good thing. If you go watch Doug Live Northport, I mean, he had a really good synopsis on that guy with the double backpack, Mrs. White, and he was saying that it even looked like it even looked like he was this perp or this person of interest, should I say, was this person of interest on one of his backpacks actually looked like it had a red colorish to it, almost like it was he described it as the color of blood. And when you look at it closely, he expanded it out. And when you look at it closely, it sure as heck does look like there's something there. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and that he does look like the guy that was putting that light in his mouth. It looks like the same perp that, or the same person of interest that was out in front of Nancy Guthrie's home. No doubt, for sure. That's where I found Devil Dog. Raw, Semper Fi. The idea that, once again, taking that light out of your mouth constantly, even though you got gloves, that saliva is DNA. That saliva is like, that's about the best DNA you'll ever get. So the idea of him doing that constantly with that light, he's spreading that DNA everywhere. Where? I mean, it's like you can just check everything you want because there's a good chance he touched something after picking the light out of his mouth back and forth. It just goes without saying, everybody. Christine, from outside, a family can look normal, wonderful, and even praised. I I left and still feel my own mom has always sabotaged me. Jealously, I had a middle class privilege. Totally understand, Christine. No doubt. I get it. I get it. I totally get it. Sorry to hear that, Christine. Sorry to hear that, my friend. Yeah, the two backpack guy, that guy, if you look at those backpack closely, you'll see there's some red on it. It almost looks like, because obviously Nancy was going ahead and was bleeding, right? They found the blood in the front of the house and in the front of the door, and then a little bit trailing, and then supposedly there was blood as you before you came out of that front door on both sides. So you take that theory, and you take the theory that he has a backpack who looks the same like the guy that was in the front cam of Nancy Guthrie's home. And then he's got two backpacks. I mean, just because he has two doesn't mean it's not him. You know, I would say that he was trying to get rid of one of those backpacks. But my point is that would that that's not a coincidence. Everybody always, we get in this habit of, and I don't mean you guys, but in general, people get in the habit of saying, "Oh, that's just a coincidence." My God, you can't have that many coincidences in a lifetime. There's so many things happening that they all can't be coincidence. It's ridiculous. But you're right. It looked like blood to me. And when you go to Doug's Live Northport, you'll see he has a video on it and he breaks it down. And man, I'll tell you what, the ironic thing is I don't think any of these people have been in law enforcement, but I tell you what, they make really good. I mean, they process information so well. It's so impressive, no doubt about it. Off off the clothesline in the yard one day, she told me, "Don't be scared." I was at work and she never called the police to report this. I was early 20s living at home before getting married. Yeah, Very interesting, Christine. Very interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. I just let you guys know if we go in and out, it's because we're in the boonies areas. We're on the back roads. So we go in and out. Don't, I'll be right back. It won't be me. Just shut it off. It'll be that we're at lost signal and it's reconnecting, but I'll be back right away. So just giving you guys heads up. Yeah, that's very interesting, Christine. No doubt about it. Thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you. People are crazy. No doubt about it. I've got some serious, terrifying events. All right. Minute. Gene says HOA. Yeah, that's a real hoot right there. Not it. HOA is a very real hoot. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. If it goes in and out, we'll be out of this area here in a sec. Thank you guys for staying with me. If it goes out, just keep that conversation going. We can still have a conversation and we'll do the best we can. Yeah, Mrs. White says, I was wondering what he was trying to do over that fence. I think he was going to, it appeared to me he was trying to get rid of one of his backpacks. And it could have been dropping one of the bloody backpack back there. I mean, it could have been a lot of things. I mean, he could have been casing out the area, but during the same time when Nancy was taken, this is going on. And people want to say, oh, well, that's just a coincidence. I'm telling you, how many times have you guys heard that? It's just a coincidence. Think about all the things that we have talked about, all the evidence and man, we'll call it circumstantial evidence of stuff we have talked about. And tell me how many times have you heard, oh, that's just a coincidence? My God. But yeah, that's what I thought he was trying to do. Who's this here? Gene says, so all the Karens in the hood want all the flowers and stuff removed from Nancy's. Really? I did not hear that. Like, what the hell is the flowers bothering people? Seriously? Why is the flowers bothering people? I mean, you can't have damn light posts to keep people safe. You can't have light posts on your street to keep everybody safe. Then until something like this happens, and now they want to bitch about flowers for Nancy. What, do we all have to give all of them flowers so they can be happy? My God, these people need to grow up. Wow, I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know, Gene. I appreciate that. Lower is he is. He's the same guy. That same guy. Yes, he is. Thanks, Gene. Appreciate you. Carol Reed is in the house. Good to have you, Carol Reed. Leave your comments. If you are not a subscriber, subscribe. Do me that favor. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Just makes you a devil pup. It makes you a devil pup. In the glad you're here, Carol. Always like hearing your opinions as well. So that's a lot of what's happening, and I can't believe these people are complaining literally about the flowers at Nancy's. It is just, I don't know. It is that it's just it's sad. Would be that deter people from going and seeing. That's not going to deter from people to go and visiting Nancy's home and leaving flowers. That's not going to deter. It's not going to stop that. So I'm not sure what the gain is. You know what I mean, everybody? I'm not sure what the gain is. What gain are they having? People are still going to come down. All right, everybody. I'm headed back out of this area, so we should be getting good reception soon. All right. I think everyone should grab flowers and signs and hold them in front of Nancy's house, and people fill the block and put it on local news. That sounds like a plan to me, Carol, no doubt about it. For anyone to be complaining about something like that, so minimal, is just unreal. It is just unreal. Talk about unpatriotic, not wanting anybody to express their feelings and their sadness and their not one, because it could have been anybody's mom, it could have been anybody's grandma, it could have been anybody's relative, sibling, loved one. To sit there and literally treat people like that is just so sad. No doubt about it. So sad. And it's like, what do these people get out of it by doing that? What do they get out of it? What is it that they get out of going ahead and being like that to people? I mean, I think people sometimes surprise me because they think that they're never going to be in that situation. You know what I mean? That, oh, It didn't happen to me, so it's not a big deal. That is so sad, so pathetic, so pathetic, so sad. Everybody, so sad. Some people just think they're like that. They think they're above everybody else. Till the day comes when they're not, and then they're asking, "Oh God, why is no one? Why is no one looking for me? Why? This, that, and the other." Well, it's unreal. It's unreal, everybody. I'm almost out of the area. If you can hear me, just know I'm almost out of this area. Almost out of this area. So the other thing is, when you stop and think about me, they're just not that cheap. I'll get one. It's gonna have to take me a little bit. I will get me a Starlink. Just gonna take me a little bit. They're just not that cheap. So yeah, I mean, I have not heard that about the flowers. That just blows me away. I mean, literally, that just like, where's the decency in people? Where's the decency in people going ahead and being there to help one another, especially when they're your neighbor? I mean, do you think that if you didn't have your you know live streamers doing this, do you think any of the neighbors would have got together and done something like this? I don't. It's that old thing Maya Angelou used to say: when people show you who they are, believe it. When people show you who they are, believe them. They are telling you who they are. That's from a great poet named Maya Angelou. And it's so true. When people show you who they are, believe it. That's why they're showing you who they are. You know, I just find it really sad that people can literally be that uh, self-centered that everything becomes about them and not about the situation at hand. No, I wouldn't want to live in a community like that. If that was going to be the mind thinking and synopsis of people, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. Hell no. Why? Why would I want to be a part of that? So, what is everybody else? You guys got any takes? Anything else? Is there any latest news coming out since we've been on live? Has anybody seen anything? Anything at all? Pass the information. Pass it down. Hoorah. There we go. We're getting signal back. Yeah, waiting to get back into the zone. Make sure you all pass this to your friends and followers and your subscribers. Make sure you let them know about this channel. I know you all like the channel, and I like the channel, and I like everybody that's in this channel. But the more people we get, the more likes we get, the more people keep tapping them likes, the more it's going to change our algorithms, and the more we're going to get more people involved. Man, it has gotten really windy over here in Ohio. All right. Let's see what we got here. So I just got back. We got a good thing here, a good view now. So Sandra Velez says, "Hey, Devil Dog, I got a question for you. Do you think the garage door opener is a..." Sorry, everybody. Sorry about it's just a bad reception in this area. Glad you all stuck by. Sandra, did you get my last response? Getting a Starlink will help. I will get one. I promise you, I'll get one. I mean, they're not cheap, but I will get one because I can't stand when this thing does that. Yuli's in the house. Did you get my response to your last question? I don't know if you did or not, but let me check here. Yeah, I know I'm glitching. Yeah, so if you didn't get it, Sandra, the idea of your question, the idea of your question that said about the garage door, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an older model. I don't think it's going to be a newer model. It just didn't strike me that Nancy is one that, will replace anything unless it's broken. You know what I mean? Creature of habit, maybe. That's why I'm thinking it's not. How you doing, Yuli? Good to see you. Yuli, he must be in a bad spot right now. I'm hoping you guys get that reception. We'll get a Starlink. We will get a Starlink. Hope you guys can hear me now. Hope you guys can hear me now. But right, if they knew the times garage door open and close, it would have to be hooked up to something, a smartphone or whatever. 50 years is a long time for a garage door. Yeah, I'm not sure it's 50 years, but I think it's older only because I say that only because, Nancy just doesn't strike me as wanting to have, like, she's old school, right? So unless it's broke, she's not going to fix it, right? So has it been replaced before? Probably. It's probably, but I don't think it's been replaced like, just yesterday, if you will, for a better lack of words. But yeah, I agree. I agree. I concur. Yuli's in the house. But great point, Christine. Good to have you, Yuli. Glad you are here, my friend. Glad you are all here. Appreciate all of you. Sorry about the disruption. Look, this town has got a major college, and you think that internet, Wi-Fi would be crucial to a college, right? You would think. You would think it'd be crucial to a college. And yet, how is it that we have this many interruptions? It just sickens me. I will get a Starlink. Just they're not cheap, everybody, but I will get a Starlink as soon as possible. That I can tell you, and that I promise. One sec. Woo. Let's see here. All right, all right. Sorry, buddy. Sorry is all I can say right now. Till we start, and then it'll all be good. All right, let me see here what we got. Christine says, I used to live in Tempe and Chandler and miss having a pool right outside my door. Also, since I absolutely hate humidity, I miss the dry heat. No doubt. Because I can tell you, Ohio, we get a lot of humidity. Sticky, that awful feeling, that awful feeling, you know, feels like everything is, I mean, you could go outside just for 5 minutes and you're sweating a storm. Oh, I hate that. I hate that feeling. The humidity is just really horrible here in Ohio, no doubt. No doubt, Christine. I agree with you 110%. Whew. Yeah, it's just crazy with the, like I said, with the Wi-Fi. It's just crazy because it's so, like, it makes no sense. It really doesn't. Talking about the idea of going ahead and being here at a major college, right, in town, and you're going to have not just dead spots. I mean, those are usually, give and take, right? Dead zones. But you're going to have like a lot of friction with trying to get a signal because I don't get it. You're a freaking college, for God's sake. You think that the Wi-Fi's out here would be like extremely strong. Students need it, right? I mean, that's just crazy, in my opinion, anyways. Very crazy. Everybody, it is 72 degrees outside right now. 72 degrees. Golly, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Here's what it looks like if you're curious. 70 degrees, 72 degrees. Nice little breeze. Oh, I love it. I love it. I can't get more of it. PT, drill instructor, PT. That's a Marine Corps thing. All right, let me pull in here if I'm able to get, um, if I'm able to get this delivered. Just give me 1 minute, everybody. Christine says, same in Chicago. I hibernate in the summer. I used to also live in Elira and Amherst. Know exactly where they're at. Both my boys are Buckeyes. Tell you what, Buckeyes have been doing pretty good these last few years. No doubt. No doubt. They've been doing really well. Thought they were going to actually win it again this year, but yeah, you never can count on a easy victory, right? Um, yeah. Glad you guys are here, everybody. Glad you guys are here. Sorry. Sorry I'm in and out. It's just that someone's got to pay the bills. Someone's got to pay the bills. All right, all right. Yeah, I like the fact of going ahead and I like the fact of going ahead and hearing so many different views of opinion because it really does make a big difference. And when you have an open mind and you hear, it is just awesome. Barb's in the house. Said hi. How you doing, Barb? Remember, if you're not a devil pup, subscribe, like, and subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just let you know when I'm going live. Appreciate all of you. Good to have you, Barb. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's why I'm constantly in and out. It's just got to pay the bills, man. Got to pay the bills. You know, this Marine, you know, it's how it works. But yeah, I think there's a lot there in front of us. I think there's a lot to be said about what has happened and who's all there and who's all involved. I think there's a lot there. I think we've seen the perps, no doubt. We have seen the perps. Perp or perps, I do believe there's three. And I'll tell you what I've been hearing too here lately is that I've been hearing a lot of people have been kind of agreeing the same thing, saying that they think there's three perps as well. So I don't know. Is it just coincidence? Is everything in life a coincidence? But no, I've been hearing a lot about the three perps on my top of the list that literally people have been claiming that's their top three, if you will. And I can tell you that is definitely my top three, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Edward said hi. How you doing, Ed? Good to have you here, my friend. Good to have you. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. Kenny. Kenny is back. What's up, you dog? My lord, same old thing, my brother. Same old thing. Just trying to make sense of everything that's going on with Nancy. Who, what, when, where, why. Christine says the night is but a pup. Is something to say when you want to stay out later and your friends want to go home early. Night is but a pup. I did not know that. See, in the Marine Corps, little guys, little girls, they want to come in and become Marines, right? So we call them little pups, little devil pups, you know. So we say, "Hey, little pup," or "Hey, little devil pup." That's the old thing, you know. So when you join this channel, you're a devil pup, literally, you know. So yeah, I did not know that, but hey, thanks for the info, Christine. Very interesting. That is cool. I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah. See, if it's kind of weird because if I stay away from the college and I don't have to go that way, reception's great. And when I have to go that way, reception's horrible. I don't get it. I don't get it. But what's going on with you, Kenny and Ed? What's happening? What's any new news on your end? Barb, any new news on your end? Don't forget to subscribe for free. All right, everybody. Give me a second. God, this day is so beautiful. It is beautiful. My Lord. Kenny says, no, I stopped trying to figure it out. I'll just wait for someone else to solve it. Understandable, man. Understandable. But that's just the whole thing, man. Is trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? What is going on? So, did anybody watch that interview with Brian Eaton, Brian Enton, and the Marine, that FBI agent? It was really interesting. She's very she was really has some very good points, no doubt. Christine says, perhaps if you pop into JLR or TED Investigates of Dad's Gone Live or others, many will get your channel info and subscribe. They go live and are always happy to share info, boots on the ground. Appreciate that. Well, you know, yeah, I get it. I just try to go ahead, honestly, and just, from a law enforcement perspective, I like to just go ahead and get, you know, talk about things that I know exactly how it works. I'm not someone who really, I'm not someone who it's all about how many people we can get. You know what I mean? It's nice to have a big take, and I do watch some of their lives that people you mentioned. I do watch some of them, and they're very interesting in their own way, in their own caption. I like Nico. I think Nico is a full of knowledge. But then again, you look at his background, and he's a retired Marine. His guy's retired from the FBI. I mean, there's a reason behind it. Maybe that's why I enjoy his coverage, because he seems to really make sense to me. You know what I mean? But I do look at their stuff. I do see what they say, what they're talking about, what's the latest, all that type of thing. I do. And thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate you. Pass the word around. Pass that word around. Spread this channel for me. I'd appreciate you. Barb says, I have a feeling that the number 3 guy involved will be got very soon. They are walking on very thin ice. It wouldn't surprise me if one disappears back to Italy. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Barb, and I am with you. I am totally with you. No doubt about it. I am with you. I think that very well could be on the route back, on the next boat going back. No doubt. No doubt. Give me one sec. How you doing, bud? Quick. Yeah, Kenny says that woman rubs me the wrong way. I cannot watch her. Really? She comes across like she's always out to hurt someone. Really? That FBI lady, that Marine lady, Maureen, I think that's her name, Maureen. FBI has her own podcast now. Yeah, she. Do you really? I mean, I think she's a lot of knowledge, no doubt about it. Knowledge is like acquired. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can just go buy it. You either have it or you don't, and that's why I like hearing people up my alley with same backgrounds. Like Nico. Nico, retired Marine, almost 20 years in law enforcement. So for that means a lot to me, because I bring that to the table. I get it, and when they talk, I understand his lingo to the T. So I guess that's why I lean more to that, to be honest. But yeah, I can understand what you're saying. She seems like she could be a little rough, no doubt about it. But then there's guys that come on that seem like they could be a little arrogant too. Christine says, yes, they all have strengths, but so do you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, Christine. You are very personable, relatable, and nice. Thank you, Christine. What you see here is what you get, man. This is how I am 24/7. Do I have my bad days? Like all of us. Like all of us. But my thing is all about just trying to convey that information. And I'm not always right. There's sometimes I'm wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong just as many as other people have been wrong. But I like understanding and hearing from people who have similar backgrounds, because then I know I'm kind of in that ballpark, right? It's easy to tell, like, okay, you're thinking in the same wavelength. And yeah, that's important to me anyway, because then it's easier for me to convey this information to you all. Kenny J, Christine, that is so kind of you. Awesome. Appreciate those kind words. You are amazing. Don't forget, everybody, if you're not a subscriber, be a subscriber. Pass it to your friends and followers. Let them know, hey, there's a guy out there, like you said, relatable. This guy talks literally, he's a kind person, and he talks about literally the substance. Hey, if you did that for me, I wouldn't ask for anything else from anybody, because that's all that matters to me. is letting people know that it's all about substance. It's all about how you can piece it together and not be afraid to try and piece it together. Some people are afraid to go on that limb, but it's not saying that you're 100% right. It's just saying, in your experience, you can connect some dots. And I like that. But you're awesome. Thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate you. Yeah, Christine says, I don't care for her either. Like I said, you ever heard that expression when the people say, it's like eating chicken? Okay? Hear me out. It's like eating chicken. You eat the chicken and you throw away the bones. So someone told me this a long time ago, and I thought, man, it stuck with me. It stuck with me for I would say probably close to 20 years. It's like everything's like eating chicken. You eat the chicken and throw away the bones. You take what you know is valuable information. You take what's valuable to you and you enjoy it, and you just kick out what you think is a bunch of BS or nonsense. That's how I look at it. And it's all because one guy 20 years ago said, hey, think of it like this. It's like eating chicken. And I thought, oh my God. And I'll tell you what, I never thought this guy would have like would have said something that would have made that much, where I would have thought about this all the time. But I do. I really do. I listen to everybody. And maybe that's to a fault, but I do. I listen to everybody. I give everybody their just due. I think everybody has a reason and why they think the way they think, you know. Whether or not it fits in that narrative, that I don't know until I hear it. But yeah, I appreciate it. That's all I can say, Christine. Thank you so much. It means lots to me, no doubt. Kenny, I feel badly for Tommaso. Once I was accused of something I didn't do. It was it was not anything serious. It was not anything serious. But at the same time, I felt awful. The worst was the circumstances made me look guilty to me. To me. No, I get it, man. And I'm sorry you'll go through that, my brother. But hey, honestly, that's all of us. We've all crossed that bridge at one time or another. We have all crossed that bridge where we have gone through something, no doubt about it. And it's even worse when you're trying to do something for the right cause, the just, when you're trying to do something for the right cause, the just, and then it goes south. You're like, God, I was only trying to do something for the right reason. What the hell? You know, that's even more painful. But I get what you're coming from, Kenny. Christine, until you find out the chicken leg was actually frog legs or rattlesnakes, which happens to be in Arizona. That is good. That is funny. No doubt, Christine. That is funny. No doubt. I like that. If you can, like I said, pass it to your friends. You're on other people's lives. Mention it if you can. Because that's awesome. I love it. I love it. That is funny. Or like when we were in one time we were in Korea, and we were eating something and they said it was chicken, and Marines, hey, you're just eating because you're hungry, and then all of a sudden you find out that it's not chicken, it's rabbit. Now I'm not saying that it was bad because it was really good, but had I known it was rabbit, I probably wouldn't have ate it. But the idea that that it was rabbit, I thought, really? And it was a funky looking piece of chicken, because I was like, I ain't never seen no part of a chicken look like that. But it was hilarious later to find out, oh no, it was rabbit. Same thing in Desert Storm, same thing, and you know, overseas, you're eating stuff that you're like, what is that? And they say, oh, it's chicken, and you're like, "Well, there's no chicken that looks like that, no piece of that body that looks like that." And then you find out, oh, it's rabbit. Okay. So yeah, I've had it all, man. I've had camel, not by choice, just hungrier than shit, hungrier than whatnot. I've had camel, and you talk about the most greasiest thing I've ever had in my life, and fatty and greasy, and they had it like in a stew, and oh my god, it was gnarly. I mean, with a capital N, gnarly. So yeah, feel you, feel you, feel you, feel you. Right, all right. Let me see what I can do here. If I can just pull it in here and back up. Damn, that's good parking. See here what you say. Until you find 100 chicken legs. That was funny. Because it all tastes like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken. We've heard that in the Marine Corps. I've heard that all along. Hey, what's it taste like? Chicken. Hey, how the hell can everything taste like chicken? But I tell you what, people tell you it's all chicken. It's just a coincidence, right? Yeah. It's just a coincidence. Everything is a coincidence. Everything is a coincidence. Really? Not every, and you'll hear it all the time. In this case alone, it's a coincidence. It is so funny, no doubt, no doubt. Gnarly with the G. Hey, I'll take the gnarly with the G rather with an N, but hey, gnarly with the G is gnarly, and we all know what gnarly is. No doubt about it. This has been so funny. All right, everybody, give me 1 second. I'll be in and out real quick. Keep that conversation going. Woo, starting to get windy. Windy, windy, windy. I am back. Starting to get windy. Oh, Lord. This has been funny. No doubt, everybody. Yes, I know, Barb. Don't remind me. Barb, we used to go to this place out there in Korea. Not Korea, Okinawa. And it was outside of the post. It's right outside the post, right? And and it's called, of all things, number one taco. Go figure. And a lot of us Marines would go there, and we'd have some beers, and eat, get hungry, and eat like like crazy. Christine says 11 a.m. still in pajamas, thinking about lunch. But get this. So we go out, all right. Yeah, that's all of us, man. Food, food, food. I'm getting hungry myself just talking about food. Well, certain kinds of food, that is. Not just any kind of food. But yeah, that's the thing, Good conversation. You guys have been amazing, man. Just having a good conversation, good communication. Everybody kind of getting their opinion out, and kind of see where everything goes. That's awesome to me. That is just awesome. Love it. When I say love it, drill sergeant, except that's in the army, they would say love it, love it, drill instructor, love it, want more of it, PT. So yeah. So getting back with Nancy, going to happen. They are going to solve this, and it's not going to be something where I don't think that the FBI did anything miraculously, or anybody for that matter. But I do think someone's going to get squeezed. And who knows, some of that money may be that right thing to motivate somebody to literally go ahead and give up the perp, you know? So I, I could see that happening. I really could. I could see someone saying, you know what? I want that money. You know, Billy Joe told Bobby Sue that Johnny Ray is the one who did it, him and his posse or whatever, or him and his two cohorts. And I could see someone turning them in, and then when they go investigate, they find all those elements of the crime. Could see that wholeheartedly. Gosh, without a shadow of a doubt, you know. But it's going to be people giving up that information is what it's going to take. Because right now, yeah, we're getting bits and pieces, but it's not enough. It's not even enough except to get you in trouble by thinking one thing and then, you know, doing something else for that matter. So you got to be careful. But everything we say here, understand this is just opinions and thoughts. This is what we think. This is what I feel because of my knowledge. So, because of my past experience, that's how I see it. Doesn't mean it's exactly that, but it's how I see it. So yeah, we don't want to put fingers and point fingers at anybody without doing your homework. And I don't think none of us have done that, in all honesty. You know what I mean? I don't think none of us have done that. But, when you don't get a lot of information, man, it's not really about speculation. I don't buy all that. It's just, you got to really draw on your experience to be able for it to make sense. You know what I mean? You got to draw on your experience for it to make sense. And if you don't have the experience, well, then that's the problem you come into. Is if you don't have experience in literally the element of law enforcement dealing with these type of cases, then yeah, you're going all over the place. You're going all over the place. So yeah, I mean, that's what I enjoy about this when I'm talking to people, But I will, I'll be watching a lot of the people, Christine, that you mentioned. And, I just hope that you'll go out there and spread the word as well as being a mouthpiece for our channel here and get get our word out there to the people. You know, that would mean a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to, I think, a lot of people on the channel because, we're going to grow one way or the other. It's just a lot easier and better to grow an easier way by getting other people involved and having people, help you through that process than you trying to do it all yourself. You know what I mean? In my opinion, anyway. Okay. I'm going to come in here. Actually, I'm going to come right here. Actually, I'm not going to come right here because it's a bad spot. All right. All right. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Where else are we at? Let me see what Christine has to say. Ted at Ted Investigates mentions this morning he is going to go visit Nancy's book club ladies. Awesome. He has the list. See if you can get any info from them. I will do that. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate you. Appreciate you with that info. Absolutely. I mean, who else would know you but the people you're in a book club with, right? No doubt about it. I mean, it's going to be people that you like, it's going to be people you know. That's interesting. But thank you so much. Appreciate that. No doubt. Yeah, I normally, when I do my lives, I normally like to do them for about two, 2 hours, maybe three. If it's going well, I like to do until three. Christine says, I'm multitasking. I'm eating salad, leftover pizza, and watching Deadly Woman on a crime channel. Watching Devil Dog, of course. You are awesome. You are awesome, Christina. Thank you so much, my friend. That is awesome. Well, that is some damn multitasking, no doubt about it. That is awesome. You know, I lost train of thought with that one. That's good. Hey, nothing wrong with pizza though. I'm gonna tell you right now, my favorite food of all time. Well, nothing beats home cooked meal from your mom, but my mom's passed, but nothing beats that. Make no mistake. Okay, Mexican food, it's like nobody's. I'm talking homemade. Okay, I'm talking homemade. Mexican food is amazing. But if it was anything to like go, pizza is my favorite food. It's like my secondary. Pizza is my secondary favorite food. I tell you what, I've ate pizza from the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, Chicago. I mean, skinny, fat, short, tall. I've eaten pizza. Pizza is just one of those things that, man, you really got to screw it up. If I don't like it, you got to screw it up because I love pizza. That's no doubt. Okay, there you go, Christine. I'm a former 20-year flight attendant. UAL. I know stuff. There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Semper Fi, my friend, Semper Fi. But yeah, I love pizza, man. Pizza, oh lordy mercy. That's like other than Mexican food, that's my like go-to. Eh, That's my go-to, no doubt about it. That is so funny. But yeah, I mean, I'll watch Ted and see what's going on with him. I don't know why a lot of people come out like I hear so many people just talking about other people like really like I don't know unmerited. I guess is the best way to put it. I'm not talking about merited. I'm talking about unmerited, and it's just I don't know. I just think that it's something where you just people just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I love this channel because I love having that conversation. You guys, you guys are awesome. Every one of you, you guys are awesome. Love it. Love it like Kyle Lovett. Except I'm not really a Kyle Lovett fan. I had to throw that in there for what it's worth. All right. Give me 1 second. That is funny. right, everybody. Well, let me see. Oh, we're 5 strong. Well, has anybody got any other takes on anything that we talked about today? Anything? Christina says, this channel ID also has a show called Fear Thy Neighbor. This one really scares me because you have no control over who moves in next door to you and robs you of your peace or worse. Wow. Interesting. That is very interesting. Oh, yes, yes. I appreciate all of you guys, every one of you guys who have become little devil pups. I appreciate you all. And no, we're only going to grow, man. If you know, what's going on here? Okay, yeah. So yeah, we're going to grow. I mean, we got a good base, good foundation, good solid, good information. I mean, you got to have a lot of these things. Lady Cat's in the house. Good to have you, Lady Cat. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, you got to have good information. You got to be, you got to be a lot of things as far as mental wise. You got to understand. You just got to respect people's different views of opinion. Don't have to agree with everybody. Just got to respect everybody's view to opinion. Because if everybody's opinion doesn't matter, then who in the hell are you trying to reach, right? I mean, it just goes without saying. All right, all right. Sorry about that once again, but you are here with Devil Dog underscore 88. Sorry about that glitch. I will be getting literally a Starlink. They're just not cheap, everybody, so you just got to give me some time. Give me some time, please. Hoorah. Christina said, someone evil could have moved into Nancy's neighborhood and saw her as a perfect time. Oh, no doubt. I mean, I think that's what they're looking at right now. To be frank and honest, that's what they're looking at. Is someone could have been staying at the that house, that small little house in the back. She was renting it out. Somebody could have been staying there. That would explain a lot, no doubt. That would explain a heck of a lot. They would have to go back and look at everybody she rented to. I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of work that could be done and needs to be done if they would just do it. You go back, you look at everybody she rented to. I'm sure her family's going to know. You go back and you look at everyone. You have them come out to do an interview because everybody's a potential suspect, right? Everybody's a person of interest until they're not. So you have them come in, you do an interview, and then if something strikes you in that interview that doesn't jive or make sense, then you go ahead and you start taking that person and finding out who they associate with and who are they with. Who do they hang out with? Who do they talk to? And you start looking at those people. And then if you find some things that really are like, well, that person doesn't seem like that doesn't fit, right? That doesn't fit that person would be hanging out with a person like this. Now you start even investigating more. You call them in and you do another assessment, another following, literally to go ahead and some more interviews. And you just never know because here's the thing: all you need is that one little nugget, that one little spot, that one thing that literally opens up the big can of worms. And that's what you're waiting for. Christine says, "Oh, no doubt, no doubt. You're so right." And like I said, that's what they're looking at in that house, who she rented to. Kenny says, is he in Tucson? I'm going to say yes. It's just a guess. This I have no factual, no reason other than, in my opinion and in my professional experience, when someone commits a crime like this, it is done, literally, it is done to, they're not going to want to have a person in their vehicle for a long period of time. So if you ask me, I'm going to say, hell yeah, I think it's somebody, if not in Tucson, pretty damn close around, if not closer. You know, that's going to be my opinion because of the reason that, no one wants to have a unalive body with them in a car, right? I mean, that's just crazy. So I would, but do I know that for a fact? No, I don't. Just giving you what the word usually would be in a crime like this. The less, you know, the less interaction you have with this person, especially if they became unalive, the better you're going to be. I guess is the best way to put it. I guess is the best way to put it. In all honesty. Let's see where this takes us here. Okay. No doubt about it, everybody. It's going to be the last, you know, let me see here. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. This will be like real quick. So it's definitely going to be somebody close by. I don't think anybody's going to be driving long distance. You know, that's why the Sonora thing, I know it's only an hour and a half, like 90 miles or an hour and a half or whatever in the hell. I just don't think that you want to be caught literally with literally an unalive person in your vehicle because there's no way of getting out of that. You can't eat your cake and have it too, which is the way their mother said it. Instead of you can have your cake and eat it too, brother saw that and said, oh, that's my brother. So, yes, could be something small, very small, no doubt, no doubt. Could be very, very small. Go back and read before. Okay, hang on a second. Someone evil could have moved. Someone evil could have moved into Nancy's neighborhood and saw her as a perfect target. Kenny and Tucson, you can eat your cake and have it too, which is the way your mother says. Two brothers saw that and said, oh, that's my brother. So, yes, you could be something small. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And that Unabomber, it took a while. It wasn't like it happened overnight. No doubt about it. Absolutely. You are definitely right. The thing is, you just got to have an open mind. You got to keep an open mind in it all. right, right after Kenny's post. I thought I did read it right after Kenny's post. Right after Kenny's post. Yeah, it's the one you said you can't eat your cake and have it too, which is the way their mother said it. Instead of you can't have your cake and eat it too. Brother saw that and said, "Uh oh, that's my brother." Mm. Well, it's deep, girl. That's deep. That's all I can say. And, you know, brother saw the right written in his manifesto, national newspaper. What do you mean, Christina? You're saying his the brother saw the manifest the written in his, oh yeah. You're talking about the Unabomber. Yes, I got you now. I got you now. Makes sense. I got you. Man, you had made me think there for a little bit. Uh, but yeah, that's the whole thing. You just gotta have. I know no one has patience. None of us have. It was only said wrong in his family. FBI Unabomber documentary on your tube is fascinating. On on YouTube. I'm gonna watch it. I'll watch it. I've seen a Unabomber. I've seen a lot of different profiles and different things on the Unabomber and the hell was his name? It's a weird ass name. Didn't it start with like a K or I cannot think for. I have to Google it because I don't know offhand. But I thought it was like a K. It was. I'll know the name as soon as I see it. I'm gonna go. Yeah, that's it. But I watched the documentaries on him before, and very interesting, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, interesting to me. Christina says interesting to me because of connection with Chicago, UAL, Northwestern. Ted, yeah, that's it. Ted Kaczynski. Yeah, that's it. Yep, Kaczynski. I mean, and that guy. I mean, he was definitely someone who literally um, he was someone who was very methodical at everything he did, meticulous. I mean, it took a lot to finally for the FBI to catch him. It really took a lot, no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt. Anybody else? You got any other takes? Any opinions? Anything? If you guys think this was a good live, let me know. One for yes, two for no. If you think this was a good live, one for yes, two for no. Do me that favor. Christina says he was brilliant. Yeah, Harvard at 17 and abused there, possibly MK Ultra. Yeah, you never know. You never know. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, everybody. This is the time. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it. Appreciate all of your all's input. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate everything you guys put into the channel from top to bottom. You guys have been amazing, and I just want to say thank you so much. I will be trying to go every day doing it live, and I've always tried to do it at 9 a.m. Eastern time because it just works out best for me. You got it, Christina. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And hey, I'm always here. You guys all have my email. If you get some information that comes up, please go ahead and email me. You all have my email. Okay. But with that, just want to say thank you. Thank you again. And like I said, all of you, Christina, Paige, all of you, Gene, every one of you, Kenny, Song is with me. All of you guys have been amazing, and I just want to thank you. I really do. If you could pass the word on, I would really appreciate it. Just helps our channel grow. I'll be back tomorrow at 9. Maybe, I don't know. You just have to look if I come out later this evening, but I don't see it happening. But we'll see. We'll see. But it's been very great. And with that, it's like I always say, everybody, you're hearing from a law enforcement of many years who have done investigations. You are hearing from somebody who is literally retired from the Marine Corps. You are hearing about this stuff given to you from a perspective of law enforcement. That's what it's all about to me. Okay? You got to have some type of knowledge in order to piece these things together because your average Joe doesn't think outside the box like law enforcement because they've handled cases like this constantly. That's what's struggling about finding why it's taking so damn long. But with that, everybody, God bless you all. Thank you. Appreciate all of you. Don't forget, if you get something, send me an email. With that, like I always say, it's common sense. Everything is common sense. It's all common sense. Semper Fi, everybody. Thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate you, and thank you for the kind words. It means a lot to me.